Greetings and salutations. My name is OJ as always, and welcome back to another episode of the Overwatchathon, a series of videos where I go over every single character in, Overwatch. I'll be covering their lore and personality, their gameplay and abilities, as well as their design and cosmetics. With all of that preamble done and dusted, our object of obsession for today is the lovable robot himself, the best rework of Overwatch 2, at least in my opinion, Bastion. Now, as I like to do in all of these videos thus far, I would like to start by talking about Bastion's backstory, lore, history, whatever fancy word you wish to call it, and his starts with his creation, as Bastions were originally created for peacekeeping purposes. Bastion robot units possess the unique ability to rapidly reconfigure themselves into an assault cannon turret. However, during the Omnic crisis, like every other Omnic in existence, they were turned against their human makers, forming the bulk of the Omnic's rebel army. And following the resolution of the crisis, nearly all of the remaining Bastion units were destroyed or disassembled. To this day, Bastion units still symbolize the horrors of the conflict. Which, by the way, personally, I always thought that was kind of messed up, that they, after the Omnic crisis was done and dusted, which, reminder, only ended after every Omnic in existence at the time gained sentience, they still decided to, destroy multiple Bastion, or all of these Bastion units, or disassemble them. They didn't even, give them a chance to actually prove whether or not they wanted to be, against them, with them. Same went for the Ravager units, so classes of Omnics like Ramatra, where they just kind of, hunted them down and killed them en masse, even if many of them, or some of them, decided to not kill humans, or kind of try and repent for their sins. I thought that was really, really weird, but I guess that just goes to show the level of, it's not, is it racism? Would you call it racism to robots? I guess it is, racism towards Omnics. But anyways, continuing forward. Bastion, the character, was programmed with the mission to attack Stuttgart alongside many other Bastion units, but it was severely damaged during the fight. It lay dormant in the Black Forest near Eichenwald, forgotten for over nearly a decade. And during that same time span, moss and weeds collected around the slumbering war machine, making it nearly unrecognizable. One day, however, a bird known as Ganymede started to build a nest on Bastion's right shoulder, and discovered its visual sensory screen buried beneath the moss. By pecking on this screen, it caused Bastion to awake, remembering its directive to travel to Stuttgart. With its destination pre-programmed, it began to make its way to the city, while admiring the beauty of the forest around it and forming a bond with the small bird, offering it an appropriately sized twig for the nest. However, as it walked through this forest, a woodpecker's drilling startled it, reminding it of the gunfire, and it reconfigured itself into an assault cannon and began to fire wayward bullets wildly, scaring off both Ganymede and tearing down the surrounding trees. Recomposing itself, it found Ganymede's ruined nest on the ground. Realizing what it had done, it sadly continued towards its destination. In the meadow between the forest and Stuttgart, Bastion was looking back at the forest as it walked forward, and then stubbed its toe on a destroyed Bastion unit, discovering it as one of dozens of other Bastion units who had been destroyed and scattered about the meadow. Bastion knelt beside the unit. Its head was torn open, and memory components were exposed. It accessed the fallen unit's last memories, and suddenly Bastion found itself reliving the war, and saw its fellow Bastion units fighting German soldiers before being wiped out by Baldric von Adler. With a new clarity as to its purpose, Bastion reverted to its combat protocol, and again marched towards Stuttgart, ready for a full frontal assault. Ganymede found it, however, and landed on it, offering a peaceful twig in friendship, just as Bastion had done earlier. Bastion struggled with itself, and finally became peaceful again, placing the twig on it to its shoulder, and turning away from Stuttgart and to go back to the forest with Ganymede on its finger. An unspecified time after its reactivation, it was spotted in Sweden by some teens, who got scared when they sighted a Bastion, as they thought it would attack them. As the city's population assembled to discuss what to do, Torbjorn arrived, claiming that he could help with the issue, and asked for the citizens to stay in a safe place. However, a police officer was sent with him after they did some research on the stranger. he set up a trap for the Omnic in the form of a ball-shaped rope bomb and his turret. But then Ganymede showed up and flew on top of the rope bomb, which startled the police officer, prompting him to fire his machine pistol, scaring away both the Omnic and the bird, which surprised Torbjorn, as Bastion units normally couldn't be scared away. Later on, he found the Omnic near a beaver dam and threw the ball near Bastion, but the Omnic gave him a bunch of twigs as a response, along with some beeps, making him realize that something is different with the unit. Soon after, the commando unit of the police started to attack Bastion, but it got away before they could do anything other than angering Torbjorn. After failing to restrain Torbjorn, he detonated the rope bomb and left his attackers tied to the trees. Torbjorn went off in search of the Omnic and found it observing a flower. Speaking to the Omnic, he declared that he came in peace and promised not to hurt him. Bastion offered him the flower as a sign of peace, and the duo continued on together. And for the most part, this is kind of where Bastion's story kind of weirdly ends. Bastion is a weird character where he's been around since, of course, the beginning of the game, but he basically doesn't really have anything. Honestly, he has obviously his cinematic, which is really, really beautiful. I do recommend, even though I just detailed the story of it, I do recommend still watching it because I do think it's really, really pretty. And he obviously has the comic. But from this point forward, we know that Bastion stayed with Torbjorn for multiple years, and as a result, Torbjorn kind of grew as a person and continued to kind of like reconsider his apathy towards Omnics before. He was one of the few people who kind of went against Aurora getting her original human rights per se, because he was worried that such advancements could lead to something horrific or big. And of course, he was technically right. He was right in the fact that her existence led to the Omnic crisis or something along those lines. Not really. You kind of get what I mean. Like, he kind of said that making Omnics this developed would lead to something bad, and conveniently the Omnic crisis then happened. So, still. But by living with Bastion, he kind of like learned to be more compassionate towards Omnics in general, and he also helped free Bastion from much of his wartime programming, as well as kind of repairing him back to shape, per se. He also received new upgrades from the engineer, and unfortunately the wiki page for this is weirdly unfinished. For example, it has written here, Bastion stayed in Torbjorn. I'm not really sure what I want to think of that. I don't... That's kind of certainly one way to phrase it, but either way, Bastion kind of just lives with the Lindholms. Like, he's good friends with Torbjorn and Brigitte. Brigitte? I had someone point out that I said her name wrong the other day, and I still don't. It is Brigitte, I think. And besides, like, obviously staying with Torbjorn and such, he did help out in one of the Overwatch 2 PvE missions, but he didn't really... He was just kind of there. He's just kind of there as, like, the fourth member of the team. And, I mean, there's some interesting stuff between him and Reinhardt, but that's more, like, on Reinhardt's kind of story, character development. Bastion, for the most part, is kind of a trope and kind of a cliche, but he's one that I think is done sweetly. I mean, come on. They reference the Iron Giant in one of his sprays, and that is kind of what Bastion is, without the giant part. He is a robot who, obviously, hurt many, many people, and many of his kind also hurt many, many people. However, presumably due to the awakening, where every Omnic gained their consciousnesses, I think that's how you say that, he kind of changed his tune, and he became more kind, caring. He has a kind of interest in nature and is fearful of humanity. He's kind of a trope of, you know, wartime robot turned peace lover done nicely. I think Bastion is very cute, even though, of course, he is a giant, you know, war-killing machine robot, but that's obviously the charm of him. And again, comparisons to the Iron Giant can be made in strides, because even they're aware of it. Even, as I said, they made a recreation of the Iron Giant poster, but with Bastion instead. And I'll show that once we get to the cosmetics, assuming I don't forget it by then. But yeah, like, Bastion's kind of a weird character where his lore is standard, his lore is very simple, very, as I said, it's kind of just a trope. But he's cute. I can't really hate him. I'm not going to hate him because he has next to no story outside of, you know, like, I do find his story intriguing on the front that I mentioned earlier, where humanity still, even after the Awakening, where all of these Omnics gained sentience, still killed the Bastions in mass or disassembled them, which I think is just very weird. I just think that's really, you know, I said it again earlier, kind of racist in a weird way. Like, I guess that is kind of the message they're trying to push forward. Because, like, imagine if you are fighting a war with a group of people who are being mind controlled. Mind you, these are not decisions made on their own accord. And then they gain the ability to think freely from themselves. They have consciousness by all definition. And you still decide to slaughter them in mass, disassemble them for parts, all of that sort of shit. Like, I'm sorry, huh? Excuse you? Dude, the humans in Overwatch's universe are literally just, like, it's weird. Like, they seem to be, you know, best buddies with everyone else. Like, racism is gone, guys. Let's not be racist to each other. Because now there's this new race of people that we can be racist to instead. Huh? 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 That's literally, like, it just, I mean, you get my point. Humanity is an interesting thing. Very interesting thing. That and the worst part is that's not even, like, unrealistic. At least not in my mind. I do think that if Omnics existed in the real world, I don't think the story would be too much different from Overwatch's, because humanity is scared of things that they don't understand. So if a robot is, you know, sentient, alive, after fighting with it in war for like 2 years, no shit they would try and kill him. Like, that's why I'm so kind of sympathetic, per se, to Ramatra's cause, because I can completely understand where he's coming from. Not on a personal level, but on a generic kind of empathetic, sympathetic level, if you get what I mean. Like, Ramatra is a good comparison, because like Bastion, his kind of units were designed for war. They were designed to fight, and many of them were hunted, kind of killed in mass for no other reason than humanity's own, like, after the Awakening, of course. They were hunted in mass and killed for no other reason than, like, humanity's racism, humanity kind of fulfilling, I don't know, revenge or something. Like, it's weird. So weird. But Bastion, specifically, the character, is sweet. He's a very cute robot. I love his little beeps and boops. I don't know why he can't really speak I'm not sure why he can't speak, honestly. But he also, again, to kind of, it's not a trope, but he really reminds me of Bumblebee. Like, I know Bumblebee can talk. I know he can. He's done that many, 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 many times. But, like, he kind of reminds me of the Michael Bay Bumblebee. And the only compliments I have for that design is, you know, he looks cool and he has some cool fight scenes. But that Bumblebee can't talk. He just uses, like, sounds from, like, the radio in his car chest. And Bastion kind of has a similar thing, where he just makes, like, beeps and boops and stuff. I mean, they even gave him a Bumblebee skin. They clearly knew where their inspirations were lying, right? But yeah, Bastion is really sweet. He's really cute. He's very simple. There's not really much for me to go on any further. So, with his story and personality done and dusted, I would like to now talk about his gameplay and abilities. Please do keep in mind for this section, I use OBS to record my audio and gameplay simultaneously, so if my voice sounds slightly different in the next segments, I do apologise in advance. But with all of that said, let us now talk about Bastion's gameplay and abilities. Right, so here we are in the ever so lovely and ever so helpful training range to talk about Bastion's gameplay. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, I am of the belief that Bastion has the best of the Overwatch 2 remakes. Remakes, redesigns, reworks, that's the word I was looking for, reworks. What do I actually mean by that? Well, obviously, from the transition from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2, a few characters got reworked, in a sense, the most obvious of which being Doomfist, who went from being a DPS to being a tank. Some other characters that I believe kind of sits in this little role of reworks, I'd argue Roadhog does, because obviously he came into Overwatch 2 gaining the trap, which is no longer in the game. Wait, no, does he still have his trap, or am I tripping? No, they got rid of his trap, right? And they also got rid of his alt fire, which then merged into his just primary gun, but now obviously they've kind of like stepped back on that rework, because now he doesn't have the trap, and now he has his alt fire back, so Roadhog is kind of just like back to what he was when Overwatch 2 came out, or Overwatch 1 came out, except now obviously his ult is slightly different, because it used to be you just press Q and you just shot it and you couldn't control it, but now you can, which, I mean, yeah, it's good, whatever. And Doomfist, of course, received his block and stuff, but either way, Bastion also received a Overwatch 2 rework, and for those that may not have been around for the Overwatch 1 days, Bastion used to be a very, very boring character who was really, really annoying. He would transform into his turret mode, he would be permanently in it, he would be stationary, however, and he would just kind of look at a choke point, shoot down it, people died, maybe they didn't, and if he got in any sort of danger, he would heal himself, and then he would be annoying. He had 350 health as well, he was tanky as shit. He still does, but he obviously, like, just a stationary turret that guns you down immediately, and you just can't really do much about that. Like, he used to be really... He's very easy to kill, mind you. He used to be kind of like a pub stomper. You would just kind of play him in quick play or play him in low ranks of comp, and he would shred everything. But the second people start actually getting some form of game sense, you know, he kind of falls off. So, the idea with his Overwatch 2 design, or redesign, was to kind of make him less boring to play, more competitively viable, and you know what? For the most part, I think they succeeded. Maybe not in the competitively viable side. I'm not particularly sure where Bastion kind of sits in competitive. But in terms of fun, yes, they have easily succeeded, in my opinion, of course. And of course, to actually talk about his kit, we'll start with... Oh, I didn't know Bastion had a unique passive. Huh. Well, I'll talk about that when we get to his transformations, right? Either way, he has 2 primary weapons, technically. The first of which being Configuration Recon. Now, back in the day, again, to discuss his Overwatch 1 version, this used to be a kind of very fast-firing, almost like SMG-esque weapon that you would just kind of poke people with if they got really close and you couldn't use the turret form, like Genji jumps you or something. Genji used to be the easy counter to the Bastion, because obviously deflect all the bullets back at him. What does he do? Nothing. And he was stationary, so it was easy to kind of like hop around him. But now, it is a kind of fast fire rate. No, it's a slower kind of fire rate. It's still kind of like an SMG in a sense, but the fire rate is just a bit slower, but to compensate, the damage was increased. It does 25 damage at base, it is hit scan, and it also gains the double damage bonus on critical hits. It does 7.5 damage at its max fall-off range, and the min-max fall-off for it is 30 to 50 meters. Now to, of course, show what that actually looks like, well, you lose all of your... You drop to that 7.5 from this distance. Like, this is really damn far away. And you're at max damage as far away as this distance. And, you know, it's decent. His basic weapon is surprisingly okay. Like, if you manage to hit your crits, I mean, 50 damage a shot at that fire rate, that's not bad at all. I'm gonna be honest. Like, just as a point of comparison, like, if we look at someone like Soldier, he has a kind of similar weapon. Look, 19, like, they actually have the same fall-up. Wow, actually, no, their weapons are weirdly similar. Obviously, Soldier has a faster fire rate, but he does 19 damage at base, and the min-max fall-off range is 30 to 50 meters, which is the same as Bastion's. So the two of them are relatively similar in terms of DPS, I would think. Kind of. Yeah. Like, I mean, Soldier has a faster fire rate, but less damage. Whilst Bastion has a slower fire rate, but more damage. Oh no, I didn't even realize how similar their primary weapons are. But yeah, Bastion's weapon is nothing to scoff at. Do not, if you see a Bastion in like this form, like normal, you know, Bastion form, don't scoff at his, you know, ability to kill you. That's, again, as I just said, nothing to scoff at. This is good damage. Even on body shots, it's still pretty good damage. And it's hit scan, so of course you can, you know, take people out the sky, etc. Even though I might be bad at that. Yeah, it's a pretty decent weapon. It's way better than the original one was. The original one was just kind of like, oh no, someone jumped me and I can't use my turret form. Quick, let me just try and spray some bullets in their direction. But no, now he's actually kind of viable to use in omnic form, because this does good damage, feels good to use as well. Really, really great change. And of course, we have Reconfigure, which I do need to talk about, because obviously it relates to the other primary weapon he has, where you can switch between your weapon configurations. It lasts for 6 seconds, you get a minus 35% move speed penalty, and it also reloads your magazine for whatever form you transform into. So if you transform into assault mode, your magazine starts full, and once you transform back into recon mode, you will have your magazine full again. I feel like that's worth noting. Either way, when you press shift, you gain access to Configuration Assault, which is a minigun with infinite ammo. It used to have 300 ammo, which you had to reload, but Of course, it is now infinite. It does 12 damage per shot, and it has a max fall-off range of 30 to 50 meters, just like Recon, and the damage at that max fall-off range is 3.6. It also has a spread of 2 degrees. Now, 12 damage base doesn't look that great. I wish they kind of listed, if there's one thing that I could ask for, like when it comes to improving this, I wish it kind of like showed fire rates. Because if you just read this look like shit, right? 12 damage a base, ooh, scary. But of course, anyone with a brain knows you transform into a minigun. Yeah, 12 damage at base when you're shooting like 20 billion shots a second. Yeah, no, that's actually quite good, no? It's actually quite strong, no? Yeah, Bastion, of course, again, just to compare him to his original version, he used to be stationary when in that turret form. But now, of course, you can move around, albeit at a slower pace, and the minigun is still as strong as it always has been. It's very, very high DPS, probably the highest DPS of any DPS. Like, I don't, like, consistent, right? There's obviously characters that deal better burst damage, I suppose. Someone like Junkrat can like one-shot most of the roster outside of tanks. But Bastion is just kind of transform into minigun and just spray. Like, this is very easy to do. It's very strong. He can obviously move now, which does make him a mobile threat, and I'll mention it in a moment. There's even more ways to make him more mobile. But yeah, the turret form is still really good. Its value is what it used to be, but now it can move. And the unique passive, it actually takes less damage when transformed, which I didn't know he had. It's a minus 27 or 20% damage taken reduction. You know what I mean? You get 20% damage reduction. But yeah, like, this is just kind of, I can't even give you like tips on how to use the tank or the minigun form, because I feel like it should be relatively obvious, right? You just transform whenever you want to kill someone. Like, oh, there's a tank in front of me. Oh, there's a Mercy flying around. Like, you just want to transform whenever you can. There's no reason to really, like, save it, per se. Especially not nowadays, because, like, before, with Bastion, you had to kind of, like, set yourself up, get in a good position, kind of position yourself well. And now it's just kind of like, oh, shoot at people. Oh, my transform's up. Oh. You do have to be aware, though, that, of course, you are slower. So, you do need to kind of keep that in mind. Say, the team can just, like, run away, right? That's one of the things with Reconfigure. The enemy team can just run away, hide around corners quite easily due to you being slower. So what you kind of want to just, like, it's weird, because a lot of Bastions that I've seen, including myself, I do it quite often. You kind of, like, reconfigure and kind of, like, slow, like, you transform around a corner and then come around in turret form. Weirdly, that obviously can work, but I do think sometimes that can be a bad play to make, because they will hear you reconfiguring. It is an audible thing that you can hear, and when you round the corner in turret mode, most people just run away. Like, they will not want to fight you in that form, which is a fair shout, because a lot of the time you can just kind of kill people really easily. Like, I know he's a bullet sponge, but he's my favorite bullet sponge to shoot. You pull up Roadhog, you can just, like, that's really good DPS. Especially on tech. That's like way better DPS than, again, almost every single other character in the game. So yeah, turret form is a interesting thing. I still call it turret form. I know he's not actually a turret, but you know what I mean. Assault mode. Assault form. You get what I'm saying. You want to just use it whenever you just need to kill things. There isn't really much, like, Bastion is a very easy character to understand and to play as. Like, he was kind of like the noob character in Overwatch 1, at least in my experience. People that are kind of picking up the game for the first time would just kind of pick him and just kind of, you know, oh, shoot people, oh, kill people. And you know what? I am one of those people. I really enjoy Bastion. I used to enjoy him in Overwatch 1, but man, Overwatch 2 has really enhanced my experience with him, because moving on from his assault form, because I feel like I've said what I need to say about it. Transform into it, minigun people, do big damage, woohoo. This thing, this is the best ability ever made. I cannot explain to you how much I love this stupid grenade. The reason I say that I think Bastion is the best rework of Overwatch 2, bar none, is because of this one ability. I want to kiss whoever made this ability, because I love it so very dearly. You fire a bomb that bounces off of walls and explodes when it impacts enemies or the ground. So it does 115 damage on a direct hit, 100 to 50 damage on area of effect. It has a knockback of 17.5 meters per second to yourself and 10.6 meters per second to an enemy. The min-max radius is 2 to 4 meters, and the explosion delay is 0.35 seconds. Now, this is basically what this is a sticky grenade. You fire it, it attaches to a person, and then explodes. Simple, right? Very, very, very simple to understand. And it's an extra bit of DPS outside of your assault form, though it is worth noting that you can shoot the grenade when in your assault form. Now, if that's all it did, I'd be okay with it. You know, a bit of extra DPS when Bastion's not able to transform into his turret. Funnily enough, its cooldown is kind of it works weirdly well with reconfigure. So, as an example, the grenade is on an 8-second cooldown. So you will have the grenade up more than you will reconfigure. So it does work as kind of like a extra bit of DPS. And of course, you can do like cool stuff by like bouncing it off of walls and, you know, sending it flying. Like there will be instances where you can kind of say, for example, right here, oh, I can't see this enemy behind the wall, but I can shoot the grenade at the wall and then manage to get them. You know, cool stuff like that. Because it bounces a few times before it explodes, there's some cool tech you can do. But, as you noticed, and as I said, there's knockback. There's knockback per self. So do you know what you can do? You can use it as a launcher. This one bit makes me the giddiest, happiest little shit ever. I love that Bastion has mobility now. I love that his mobility is a grenade. I cannot tell you how much I love propelling myself with this stupid grenade. You probably saw it in a bit of the B-roll footage, but every chance I get, no word of a lie, I'm using this grenade to launch myself around. I love this. I love that you can do this so much. It opens up all of these new possibilities for Bastion that he just never had before. Say there is someone jumping him, he can now shoot the grenade at his feet and explode himself backwards, along with usually the person near him. He can even attach the grenade to the person right in front of him and back up away from them whilst they explode. You can, of course, as I just showed multiple times, send yourself into positions that Bastion never used to be able to get to. Like, I'm sorry, if Bastion still had the stationary turret form, I don't even think that would be an issue anymore, because this dickhead can just kind of get to places now. He can just get into the weirdest, wackiest spots. Like, before, you used to have to be like a little bit creative with how you got around. You kind of had to take like secret hidden pathways. No, Bastion could just fly now. And the best part is you can use it in turret form as well. So you can kind of like launch yourself into the enemy team whilst in turret form, which negates that earlier issue or earlier qualm I have with him, where, you know, as me and many other Bastions do, they'll transform around a corner and kind of slowly round it. But with the grenade, you can launch yourself around the corner and then just start minigunning people down, which makes you far more unpredictable. Like, it's just, this ability is so much fun. I cannot stress enough how just enamored I am with this ability. It's just, it's so simple. It's a sticky grenade that explodes and launches you or enemies backwards, or in whatever direction you want them to be launched. But it just works. It just works so well for Bastion. It opens up all of these new possibilities for him, and it makes him like one of my favorite DPSs to play. He's so much fun. I cannot, like, the grenade makes him like so much fun. Where even is he amongst my like hero levels? I don't think Bastion would be that high. Yeah, he's not really, but where is he amongst my time played? He's also, that's weird, 15 hours played and level 15 on him. Like, I know it doesn't look like I play him a lot, but genuinely, whenever I play him, I have a blast. Like, he is so much fun. Genuine. This best thing ever. I want to kiss whoever made it. Like, seriously. Let me know. I'm gonna send them all of my love. Let me know who made this ability. I'm gonna send them all of my love. But, unfortunately, there is one thing that I do feel like kind of got hurt in the transition, and that was his ultimate. For those that don't remember, or don't know, Bastion used to, with his ultimate, transform into a tank. And I mean that in the literal sense. he would have a tank cannon, and he would be able to drive around, not too dissimilar to how he does now with the assault form, and just shoot explosive shells at people, and they do big damage, and that's it. That's all he would really do. You just drive around, shoot people with a tank form, and you come out of it. Now it's called artillery, and you become immobile, and you fire 3 artillery shells. They do 550 damage on a direct hit, though it certainly don't feel like that, and they do 250 to 50 on area of effect. You can be in this form for 8 seconds at max, and the min-max radius for the explosions is 1 to 6 meters. This ult kind of sucks. It feels like a third ability almost. It doesn't really feel like an ultimate. You press Q, you transform into this, and you get like this upper kind of. It's very akin to Doomfist's ultimate, and then you just like launch the 3 artillery shells and they explode, whatever. But genuinely, this ult so often feels like it just doesn't do anything. So I just use it like the second it's available. Like just as a show of an example, right? If I actually land direct hits on this Roadhog. Like, wow. Oh my god. Whoa, he's dead. I killed him in two shots. Whoa. Remember, Overwatch is a game where people are moving around like constantly all the damn time. You are never going to hit a direct hit outside of like pure luck scenarios. So all this ult really is good for is to kind of just nail one target. Like, just pick a target on the team, preferably one that doesn't have any mobility, and just bomb them. You see an Ana on the enemy team, just bomb her. Just like triple bomb. He is the solo ult merchant, because you are not really going to get any team value out of this ult outside of a rare scenario where you, I don't know, hit multiple direct hits somehow, which I feel like is really hard to do for some reason. So yeah, I just pick a target. Just pick someone who has no mobility. I know, say you see, who is it? Is it just Ana? Like, I don't know, you see a Zenyatta and he's causing you problems, just bomb him. You see a Ana causing you problems, bomb him. If you see Kiriko, who's just used her Swift Step, and her Suzu, if you catch Kiriko with no cooldowns up, bomb her. Like, there are characters that you really shouldn't bomb, like Moira, there's no point. Like, unless you just watched her use Fade, she will easily get out. Again, you kind of have to be smart. You kind of have to like catch these characters without their kind of like Wu Yang is very susceptible to it when he doesn't have his rush up, right? Like, never try and bomb a Life Weaver. I'm gonna be so for real. He'll just get on his platform and then jump off it, and you'll try and bomb the platform and it will destroy the platform, or just dash. But you know, you can kind of like bait out movement abilities. Like, you can just like drop one bomb on Kiriko and she uses Suzu. Then you drop another one and then she uses Swift Step or something. And then you drop the third one. But it's like, I'm doing all this effort for like one kill. I don't know. His ult is like the most lackluster thing about him, and it does genuinely just feel like a third ability. Like, the second you get it, you should just like, I don't know, bomb, just drop it and call it a day. And funny enough, it feels like they're kind of incentivizing that, because the cost for it is only like 2,050. That's like nothing. Like, if I pull up some other, see, I say that, but I'm gonna pull up like another DPS, and they're gonna have like similar ult costs. Okay, yeah, Deadeye is less. Duplicate is going to be way less, I know that. Oh, weird. That's not actually as little as I thought. Bola shot. Yeah, no, actually, why is... Genji's is high, right? Barely higher than Bastion's. What the shit? Hanzo? What? Oh, hold on. Is Bastion's, like, actually quite... okay. No, Soldiers is really high. Wow, okay. No, Soldiers is really high. What about Sombra? Damn, we're learning new things today. Wow. Bastion's ult cost is weirdly high amongst the DPS roster. Adventure? Does Soldier have the highest cost of any DPS? Wow, really? Huh. Well, either way, his ult does the words. His ult does just feel like a third ability. And I realize that I'm calling Bastion he throughout this thing just now. It's kind of just what I default to for him, or for Bastion specifically. I don't know why, but I just do. Pierre's ult just feels like a third ability. It's fine. It's whatever. You just kind of use it whenever you can, or whenever you get it ready. Like, it's whatever. It's fine. You might get a cool, cheeky solo pick now and then, but yeah, it doesn't matter. The grenade is still the best thing ever made. Bastion is genuinely like one of the most fun characters to play ever, just because of the grenade. And you know what? Things only get better. Let's talk about his perks. Armored artillery, I have never used this thing in my entire life. You gain 300 extra overhealth temporarily when you go into your ultimate form, which is fine if you want to just like ult in front of people. But no, because the other perk is the best perk ever made, which is Configuration Reload, which refreshes the cooldown of your grenade when you transform into your different configurations. I feel like I should point out, you do self-damage with the grenade, but it's, what is it? How much is it? Yeah, it's about the 50 if you stand directly on top of it. But honestly, it's not really a problem, because it used to be a problem, but then they added the passive healing, and now it's not a problem, because you will usually use it to get out of spawn or get away from people, and you usually passively heal it, or your teammates will be there to heal you, etc. Either way, what I'm actually talking about with this perk is that you can use it here to bounce up here, transform into turret mode, bounce up again, transform back, and then bounce up again. Bastion suddenly, with this one perk, becomes a movement god that everyone should be scared of. Because now, you will encounter a Bastion that will fling himself forward into the air, minigun you from the heavens, and then bounce around again to just continue minigunning you, and then bounce away out of the fight. Like, with this one perk, all of the compliments I had for the grenade and its movement capabilities are now enhanced tenfold, because I can do it 3 damn times. I love this perk. It's the best perk ever made. I cannot express enough how much I love whoever made the perk. I also really love that one perk from, I believe, 2 seasons ago, where the grenade did no self-damage and its knockback was like increased by 50% on yourself. That was an even better version of this, because now I can just send myself flying. I genuinely don't know what I prefer, taking no damage but flinging myself further, or having 3 of them. And of course, you can also use it in an offensive manner. Like, you can attach a grenade, transform into turret mode, attach a grenade, use your turret mode, and then attach your grenade. Like, it really increases his DPS along with his own movement. And it's genuinely, like, baffling that this perk has gone, like, untouched. Like, it's a really strong perk for him. And it also helps, say, for example, like, you're coming out of spawn after respawning. You just, like, fling yourself forward again, and then you fling yourself forward a 3rd time. Like, you've made some decent distance, and by the time you get to the fight, you've probably passively healed back all the health you lost. Or you can just have a healer heal you. Or you can use one of his perks. You have self-repair, that's the obvious one I'm talking about, where you can now press E to rapidly heal yourself. This is his old ability, come back in a new form. It does have a resource bar now. It used to be infinite for those that don't know, though you did used to have to stand still to use it, so kind of a trade-off really. But yeah, it used to be a really annoying thing, because like a Bastion could actually like heal in front of you and just survive your DPS. Like, he sometimes just would not care. But yeah, it's good that this is here, and of course, you can, it is kind of useful. Say your team's kind of like struggling on heals, I don't know, maybe you got Zen Lifeweaver comp and you want to just die or something. You can just pick up the self-heal. Like, if you think your team is just not going to heal you when you need it, just self-heal. Just get self-heal. Or if you want to be like me and bounce around like a maniac with triple grenades, you can also get self-heal to solve the problem of entering fights with, like, you know, 1/3 of your health missing. So yeah, self-heal is fine. It's a decent perk. But you do also have Lindholm Explosives, where your minigun will now be transformed into a, what does it say? Slowly fires explosive shells instead of a rotary cannon. And now, of course, to show what this looks like, what it basically is then bringing back the tank form. So now, instead of the minigun that you are all used to, you will transform into the turret mode and shoot large explosive blasts that 2-shot anything that isn't a tank. And also have some small knockback, so you can knock people off the map just like that. I'm not really sure which one of his perks are better. They're both quite good. They both serve a purpose in different ways. Like, if you want to, you know, be a movement god with this perk, which, by the way, I always pick this perk, even if, no matter what. Like, even if I'm picking, like, this one, I still always pick this one, so I don't really ever care about if you're a movement god. Like, yeah, you're always going to pick this perk. You can use self-repair, because it obviously increases your survivability, which is good, because you are quite a large target. I know he has the highest health of any DPS, sitting at a whopping 350, with it basically being like 1/3 of it armor. The only other character with even as much health as him is Mei at 300, but Mei's health is raw health. There is no armor. So yeah, he has the most health of any DPS. I mean, I guess Echo does as well, like, kinda, if she transforms into a tank, but you know what I mean, base health. So he is quite a tanky boy, but he's also quite a big target, all things considered. He is about as large as a tank, funny enough. Like, he's kind of chunky. I actually think Ram is skinnier than him, if I'm not mistaken. Like, yeah, then they're not too dissimilar, at least in terms of, you know, size, all things considered. But yeah, you are quite a big target. Your head hitbox is very easy to shoot. It is worth noting when you're transformed into your turret form, your head hitbox is actually on your back. It's a little blue crystal thing. I wish I could show that somehow. I don't know how I would. I can't make like these bots do things for me, unfortunately. But yeah, so do keep that in mind. But I honestly, this perk here, the explosive one, which obviously I'm meant to be discussing, it's kind of just personal preference. Do you want the minigun? Like, best example, right? If there is a team of multiple flying characters, say there is a Farah, say there is a Mercy, say there is an Echo, or maybe even a Hammond, I would stick with the minigun because when you transform into the explosive one, you now become a projectile. So you kind of have to, you know, there is travel distance to your shots, but you do get a higher DPS as it because of it. But if there's multiple flying characters, you're just better off staying as the minigun hit scan, really. So I don't know. It's kind of just like the Lindholm explosives is kind of a situational thing. Are there a lot of characters that you can kind of like one shot? Can you one-shot Tracer? I've now just had that thought. Is this version of Bastion able to one-shot Tracer? No, but close. And remember, grenade always exists. But yeah, minigun is for when there's like, you know, flying characters, or I would argue it's probably still better against really fat targets. Like Roadhog and Hazard are very large targets. You probably get more benefit out of using the minigun. But if you want to just, you know, two-shot their DPSs with the explosion version, be my guest. It's kind of just pick and choose. I don't know, whatever you need, whatever you want. Like, say, I don't know, you don't need to heal yourself and there's no flying characters. Pick explosives. There are flying characters. Pick self-repair. Oh no, all of his perks are pretty good outside of, you know, the one based around his ultimate, because his ultimate's not very good. Yeah, I know, Bastion, the explosion, I mean, you can also knock yourself around with it. I should mention that. Because it's obviously explosive. Don't know why I said it like that. You can knock yourself around with it, which gives him even more movement, because he needed that without the grenades. But yeah, I feel like perks are kind of just pick and choose whatever the hell you want, and I don't really have a preferred version, honestly. Like, the explosion one is quite fun, but so is the minigun, so just pick and choose. It's kind of personal preference, really, at that point. You get the point, though. You get what I'm trying to say. Bastion is easily my favorite of the Overwatch 2 reworks. Though admittedly, I say that, and now I'm actually here making this video. Roadhog's not really an Overwatch 2 rework anymore, huh? He didn't really get reworked. All of it's gone now. So the only other Overwatch 2 rework is Doomfists. And I feel like Doomfist was kind of a mistake, honestly. I feel like it was kind of a odd choice. One that hasn't really panned out as well as I thought it should. But yeah, I feel like Bastion's like the only Overwatch 2 rework besides Doomfist, and his is bar. Yes, I probably titled the video something like "The Best of the Overwatch 2 Reworks," and then I need to put like an asterisk on the word reworks because it's just him and Doom. like yeah, no shit, Bastion's probably going to be the better of the two. It's funny. I kind of wish they'd actually reworked a few more characters. Like, I guess you could say they kind of reworked Mei. Kinda, because they got rid of her freezing with her primary fire, but then they added it as a perk. So did they really rework her? I don't know. It's kind of a yeah. Bastion's lovely. I'm going off on tangents. Bastion's gameplay is absolutely fantastic now. It used to be really, really boring. Now he's really, really fun, all because of this damn grenade and the fact you can move in your turret form, and because of that perk that they've added. Like, I think it was last season, maybe this season. I don't actually remember when it's added. I think it was last season, yeah. Season 18, as of making this video. Yeah, Bastion is just really, really fun. I know people are still kind of stuck in that kind of idea that he's like, you know, boring turret guy that just, he's the turret merchant. He just sits there, he shoots people, and then he gets killed. Woohoo. But no, he's changed. He's a changed omnic. He's grown from the terrible ways he used to be. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. Some people still think of Bastion as like a really boring, unfun character, but please, give him a try. Trust me, I've shown that he can do some fun stuff with that grenade. He can be really fun when you put the effort in. I love him a lot. I think he's very, very fun to play. Real, I don't know how strong he is, DPS wise, but I wouldn't think he was particularly very good right now, maybe. A lot of divers are quite strong. He can kind of get countered by divers because he is relatively slow, and he is a big target as well. Like, I feel like Tracer could probably just destroy his ass, especially considering his head hitbox in turret form is on his back. Tracer can easily get round Bastion, right? So yeah, he might not be the best right now, but hey, I think he's pretty fun. I think he's one of the more fun DPSs in the game. I like him a lot. But with all of that done and dusted, all of that said, I would like to now move on to talking about his design and his cosmetics. Now, when it comes to Bastion's base design, I think it's pretty good. It's got a recognizable silhouette. I need to address that immediately. His silhouette is perfect. Like, genuinely. Big, square, chunky looking robot with a giant minigun on his back. That's a great, perfect silhouette. Perfect design. Like, if I were to just suddenly blacken out everything on Bastion right now, you'd be able to recognize him immediately. At least I would think, right? He's just got one of them easy Overwatch 1 iconic designs. I love the way you can see all of like these kind of, I don't know, he's just, I don't even know how to explain it, but I just think Bastion's design is just great. I love that you can kind of see all of these different like cogs and kind of, well, they're not cogs, but like all of these kind of like circular pieces to show how he would kind of like transform in a weird way. Like if you look at his chest or near his waist, he's got like this circular plate to show how his body would kind of like shift around itself. I just hit my microphone. Shift around itself to kind of transform. You kind of see it in like one of his highlight intros, like how his body kind of, yeah, do you see like there how his body kind of like turns itself around to get back into the normal form? Like again, it's weird how he shifts. I don't even want to ask like the developers how they got the what would you call it, the animation work for his transformations. Like it looks so smooth almost. Like where's the other, is it this one? Like yeah, like how his entire body just like transforms around itself. It's just so weird and cool, and it's like it's not like explicitly shown in how his body is made, but like the bit with his thing there, and I have no idea where the tank treads come from. I must admit that. Like during this, like where do the actual treads for the tank come into this? Like I actually can't see that on his body anywhere, which I think is odd. I don't know where the tank treads come into it, but either way, I love Bastion's design. He's very simple, very square, very blocky, and of course, Ganymede is a very, very cute little bird. I think they are absolutely adorable. And like, look at them. Funny enough, I actually own a plush of Ganymede. I own like a little plush toy of Ganymede. I think it's from BlizzCon, I think. I didn't actually go to BlizzCon. I just got it off of, I think it was eBay or something. But yeah, I have a plush of Ganymede somewhere. So yeah, a very cute little bird. I love him dearly. He's my little son. Bastion's little son. Or daughter, whichever one. Yeah, Bastion's design's great. I love the kind of markings on him as well, like a lot of the dirt, the kind of scratches, and the little kind of E52 to show his designation. I don't know, he's kind of got like that dirty war color as well, like with the beige green and kind of this like this bricky orange, which, I don't know, Bastion's design just looks great. And turret form, again, I have no idea where these tank treads come from. Oh, here's the head. Well, I got really excited there. Here's the head hitbox I was on about. This is your head hitbox when you're in turret form. I need to just say that. Yeah, turret form looks pretty cool as well. Also has a very clear, iconic design. I love how he kind of like rumbles when he's in turret form. Like he's not like used to it. Almost like he doesn't want to be in turret form to shoot people. And you also have artillery mode, which is, it's fine. Looks a bit funky in the hero gallery, but yeah, it's whatever. I like that he kind of uses his legs in a weird way to kind of prop himself up. I just love how he can just like shift and transform, and I don't know, he's awesome. And then you have his Overwatch 2 design, which I think is actually weirdly one of the times where I don't mind how they've cleaned up the character. I mentioned this a lot when I was talking about Baptiste, how his Overwatch 2 design is kind of just like a lot of the Overwatch 2 designs, even outside of just like Baptiste, like I still think Ashe has a like she goes from, you know, dirty cowgirl with this kind of inspiration in her from her upper class life to just being a cowgirl, and a lot of her outfit becomes far cleaner. He won't be tomorrow's video. I will just say that as a spoiler, but like Cass as well. Dirty looking cowboy with kind of rips and tears in the poncho to being far more clean, far more futuristic. Like his arm going from this silver kind of worn look to just being completely white. Again, a lot of characters suffer from becoming more clean, becoming more sterilized almost. But Bastion is one of the times where I don't actually particularly mind it, because we know from his backstory that Torbjorn kind of like made him look better in a way, like kind of fixed him up, fixed up a lot of his old malfunctioning programs, fixed up a lot of his quirks and clunks, cleaned him up, and as a result, he now looks the way he does now. And I think this is a great way to show that. I love that. I actually like that his kind of colors are a bit more clean. Like he's gone from this sort of rusted beige color to a more clear, like almost like cream color, like a yellow. A lot of the brick browns and greens on him are now more clear, more bright. They're kinder colors. Like the brick brown is now kind of a yellowy orange, and the greens are kind of more nature-esque. And I think that works for Bastion a lot. Like, even the white on him is more clean. I think that's a sweet idea for him, because it shows that he has kind of become he's kind of, I don't know, it's like a show of Torbjorn kind of cleaning him up. It's cool. I like it. It works. And he gets a cute little hat with the ironclad symbol on it, which I think is really sweet. I think putting a little hat on him is so cute. I do wish that Ganymede kind of looked a little bit different in some way, shape, or form. I know. I think it would have been cute if they had, I don't know, maybe Torbjorn made like a miniature nest on Bastion's shoulder or something. I think that would have been really sweet. But yeah, I think Bastion is like lovely. I think both of his designs really, really work. And it shows a progression from Overwatch 1 and how he was to Overwatch 2 with him being with Torbjorn. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of his cosmetic stuff was probably Brigitte and kind of helping him out. But yeah, I think his designs are really neat. They really work. And he still keeps the same silhouette even with the hat. And the turret form is... I love that the hat goes on backwards when he's in turret form. I think that's so cute. I think that's so smart. It's so dumb, but it's so smart. I love it. And yeah, tank form still looks pretty much the same. Did they actually include where the tank treads come from still? No. Tank treads are still coming out somewhere. And the artillery form is whatever. I do like that. Again, the hat is on backwards. Should not stay up like that, but it's a cute idea. Yeah, Bastion is just... I love him. He's so cute. I love him. How can you hate him? How could you hate this little face? Look at him. He's so happy. But anyways, moving on from his base designs, do have to talk about his cosmetics. Bastion has been treated relatively well in terms of cosmetics. He gets stuff, you know, here and there. I wish he got more, but he gets stuff now and then. Not that yeah, he gets stuff. He gets stuff. It's not like... I feel like Bastion's kind of at that decent level where he gets like a skin every like 3-ish seasons or every 2 seasons. And I feel like it's the kind of the normal level that characters should be kind of like receiving skins almost. Maybe, kind of, like every 2 seasons, every 3 seasons. Like, I feel like that is a fair thing to do. And he has some good ones, like even from Overwatch 1. I always thought like, I was always very fond of these, the Gearbot skins. I always thought these looked awesome. They're very, especially like Gearbot, weirdly reminds me of like Bioshock in a weird way, with that kind of like underwater rusty look to it. You see like, I swear you said barnacles on him somewhere. I might be tripping. Either way, I really like the rusted look. I mean, the Steambot is also really, really cool looking. The Woodbot skins, not so much. Not really ever been fond of them. I would like to point out that in almost all of his skins, Ganymede does change to a different type of bird. Like, I believe he's a woodpecker there, and of course in the Steambot, he's a pigeon. I think that's really cool that he's a little pigeon. I think that's really sweet. And of course, this is one of my favorite skins for him. I think this is a lovely, lovely skin. You got this if you bought the Origins edition of Overwatch, which is what I did back when Overwatch 1 first came out. You could also get it from the other editions. This is him from the cinematic The Last Bastion. Though, of course, this was the look before that cinematic, but it's just Bastion's base design, but covered in, you know, moss, grass, flowers. He's got like a little nest on his shoulder with the eggs in it. And I think this is a wonderful looking skin. It's really, really gorgeous. I think this is such a simple idea but it really, really does work. I feel like it's worth showing as well, like some of the turret forms. Some of them are really, really cool. It does have some really good event legendaries. This is a really, really cool look, like him turning into a coffin with a hand coming out, and Ganymede now being a little skeleton bird. June Buggy is also quite cool, though not my favorite. Avalanche has always been really sweet because he had a little, he got a little hat on him, little Christmas hat. He got little owls, Ganymede, which is really cute. I'm a big fan of owls. I think they are wonderful looking creatures. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that my goat got Bumblebee. Thank God. When we knew that we were getting Transformers, I was like, if Bastion isn't Bumblebee, I'll kill someone. Like, there is no way they do a Transformers collab and don't make Bastion a part of it. And yeah, I'm glad my worries were not founded, or my worries didn't come to reality. Like, it's in the shop right now. Bastion's, I'm glad that they brought it back. I bought the whole Mega Bundle when it came out. I mean, come on, man. You put Bastion, Bumblebee, and Ramatra Megatron? What? Are you telling me not to buy it? Damn, I bought that shit immediately. But yeah, it's a really lovely skin, genuinely fantastic, perfect idea. I love it. It looks great. I know he's obviously based off of the G1 design for Bumblebee. It just looks so cool. I love that in his turret form, the bottom half isn't like, you know, the normal tank treads. It is a car. I think that's so cool. That's very different. Like, even if we go to like this skin, right? It's obviously still the tank treads, but obviously in Bumblebee, it's a whole ass car. That's great. That's the sort of like quality, that's sort of small bump in quality I want from these collab skins. And the turret form is whatever. Yeah, the turret form, or the artillery form is always kind of disappointing. And it's also worth noting that in the look, he's a full car. He's a full car, and it makes the sound. Ah, I am so happy. I know people complain about collabs, but man, when it's something you like and you see this sort of care and attention put into it, it makes you a happy little shit. Like, I'm gonna be real. I know Vendetta is Vendetta comes out tomorrow as of me making this video. Like, not comes out, but like her trial starts tomorrow as of me making this video. And I mentioned in the video where I broke her down that I could see them doing a Final Fantasy collab to give her Cloud because of her big sword, right? The thing is, I said that like it was a bad thing. But if they, you know, I don't know, maybe chuck in Clive Rosfield somewhere, hey, you know I'd be buying that shit immediately. I mean, I'd buy a full Final Fantasy bundle. I like Final Fantasy. I'm actually playing through Final Fantasy VII's remake right now. I'm probably going to finish this video and go off and play that. But yeah, I'm getting off track. Still speaking of Bastion, some of his other skins, I like a lot of his epics. I like that he has like a null sector skin. I think it's a really cool look for him. A really interesting idea that obviously, like, I don't even know how Ramatra would have even like repurposed them. Most of them, as I said, like Bastion is the last one of his kind, right? So how null sector repurposed them and like remade them, I have no clue. But hey, I ain't complaining. And he also does have the Omnic Crisis skin, which is what they used to look like during the Crisis. Very interesting look as well. Like, a lot of his epics are really cool looking. And is that Mordecai? So he got a Mordecai bird in that skin? Why have I never noticed that? Why it's got Mordecai as a bird? He also has like the Gwinish skin, Gwishin? Yeah, Gwishin? I don't know how to say their names. They're another sector of like evil omnics per se. And yeah, they're the ones that like the Korean army, so mecha fights. So it's cool that Bastion has like that design as well. I don't know, he just has so many good skins. I hate this thing, actually. This is my least favorite skin of all time. I despise it, just because of the battle pass it was in. It's a funny enough skin, but genuinely, it was in the Season 9 battle pass when I was really excited for an eldritch horror theming, and this thing just being there just pissed me off. Fire Engine, really, really cute. Ganymede got a little hat. Cardboard is so genius as well. I love it. It's got different sound effects as well when you shoot the default gun. I think this is a genius look. Toxic is the skin of all time. I find it kind of funny that Ganymede is like a robot bird, and you've got like a Ganymede inside of Bastion in like the toxic bubble. But yeah, he just has so many good skins. Like, there's very few of them I don't like. I mean, I even like this thing because I think it looks kind of funny. Like, I love that it's got like the big dragon gaping face on the back. I don't know, it's a cool skin. It's decent. Yeah, I don't think really Bastion has any bad skins. Like, the worst it gets is like the antique skins, but I don't even mind them. So yeah, Bastion is great, just across the board. And don't worry, I did not forget that I wanted to show the... Where the hell would it be? Here it is. The recreation of the Iron Giant poster with Bastion instead. They knew what their inspirations were. They knew what they were going for. And I'm glad that they acknowledged it. I think it's quite cute that they acknowledged it. But yeah, Bastion across the board is a very lovely little sweet thing. I do love him dearly. And yeah, I feel like this is probably the end of the video. I've said all I need to say on his skins, design, gameplay, story, etc, etc. I love Bastion. Think he's very sweet. He's very simple, but he has a charm to him, and I feel like that carries him very hard. Not in a bad way. I do think his charm is what carries him, but in a good way. You know what I mean. Now, as I alluded to earlier, a fun fact. The next video in the series is not going to be on Cassidy. Because, as I said, Vendetta's trial begins tomorrow. And as you know, or as some of you may know, my schedule for publishing videos is kind of like, do one, take a day off, do one. So there's a day off between videos. And tomorrow is my day off, per se. And Vendetta has her trial tomorrow. So I will make a video on her trial. I already made a video kind of explaining my worries and qualms and with her design and what she looks like and her role. I do need to kind of, most people are probably not going to see this. I'll say it again in her video in 2 days time. But I want to just stress, I don't think she should have been a tank. I think we needed a tank. I don't want Vendetta to be a tank. I'm aware that she fills a role in the DPS roster that we do need. And there are already many tanks that are very akin to her in the tank roster. However, my qualms really with her is that she is a DPS now. I would have been more than okay with her, been more than happy with her, role-wise, if she came out, in Season 22 instead of Season 20. I still would have kept all the same qualms with her design, though. I feel like her design should have been changed. If they don't want to make her bigger for fear of her making her, a tank in looks, give her some muscles on her arms that will not kill you, and give her more wolf aesthetics. Make her hair more wildly. Someone said in the comments, pointed out, she should have had some sort of fur coat or some sort of fur collar or just anything wolfy, please. But yeah, so Cass will not be the next video. It will be on Vendetta and her hero trial, because I am probably going to be right in my assumptions that she's probably going to be really, really damn fun, and that's going to piss me off quite a bit. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, whether it be a good morning, afternoon, evening, etc. And the next video, as I have obviously just went over, will be on Vendetta's hero trial.